All right, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host, Chuck Stevenson. So, while I haven't reported on it yet, you probably mostly all know that Claudia Gadelha is out of her fight against Yan Xiaonan at UFC 253 on September 26th due to a knee injury. So the big question on everyone's mind is now, who is the UFC going to find to replace Yan on about 3 weeks, little more than 20 days notice? I mean, who can replace her? Who should replace Yan? So, I mean, you look at her, she's 12-1 in the UFC, 12-1 overall. She's currently number 10 in the UFC rankings. So the purpose of this video is I'm going to present multiple options, about 5 of them, on who they could put against her, the pros and the cons of each matchup, why the UFC might want to match these fighters up against Yan and why they might not want to. So let's start with the highest ranked one, number 7 ranked strawweight Carla Esparza. Esparza is currently 17-6 as a pro. So a pro for facing Esparza for Yan, with that it would boost Yan's ranking up by like 3 spots, from 10 to 7. However, there are several cons. First off, why would Esparza fight a lower ranked fighter on short notice? Unless they're going to give her a boost in pay, what incentive is the word I'm looking for? What incentive would Esparza have to take on a dangerous striker, her biggest weakness? What incentive would she have to take on a dangerous striker, lower ranked, and on short notice? There's really none. Another con, and this is from a matchmaking perspective and from a promoting perspective, the wrestling factor. Yan has never been tested on the ground. Her only loss comes via submission, and that was very fast in the first round. That was at least 5 years back. Since then, Yan has not been tested on the ground at all. I don't think she's even been taken down in that time. I certainly can't remember it. So that is a huge risk. Now, granted, she was going to face Gadelha, who is primarily a ground fighter. However, Gadelha would be more likely to test herself out on the feet against Yan than Esparza would. And Gadelha only has a very limited gas tank. So she might take Yan down in the first round and then not have any wind left in the second if it goes to the second. Esparza is not going to run out of gas. She's not going to stop trying to go for the takedowns. And if she gets it down, she's not going to let up on Yan when she gets her down. So that is a huge con from a promotional aspect, because Yan is getting the push now. They were holding her back in favor of Zhan, but now they have a chance to push another fighter, another Chinese fighter, towards the title, and they're doing it with Yan. Which takes me down to number 11 ranked fighter, Tecia Torres. So pro for Tecia Torres. It would make for a fun, exciting, striking battle. And for Torres, it's a chance for Torres to get back into the top 10. However, there are some cons. Mainly being, why would Torres take a short notice against a dangerous fighter when she just got back into the win column, halting her 4-fight losing streak? You'd have to really give her an incentive to want to take on this fight. And the UFC right now, they're not keen on giving big incentives. And when I say incentive, I mean money. When I say incentive, I mean money. They're not really trying to pay out right now. In fact, they're trying to do everything to avoid paying fighters. So what incentive would Torres have to take on a dangerous striker or a dangerous opponent on short notice when she just got back into the win column? Also, why risk losing? Or, from the promotional aspect, it's really not that bad of a risk for Yan, who they're trying to push, because number 10 and 11 it's really not that bad. So not really any cons from the promotional aspect. More for Torres. Moving along to the number 13th ranked strawweight, Angela Hill. So Hill expressed on Twitter that, she was mad at Watterson for getting in the way of her taking on short notice fights. Hill would want to take this fight. 1, she likes taking the short notice fights. 2, it's against a higher ranked fighter. And 3, she lost a close split decision to Yan that she wants to get back. So Hill would definitely take this fight. Con, they're not going to move her out of the spot against Watterson. And honestly, I don't think she really is that mad at being held off from this fight, because she has a chance against a higher ranked fighter anyway in Watterson, and arguably an easier win for her. Arguably. So obviously they're not going to book this matchup. I just thought I'd put it in there since Hill is at least pretending that she's mad that she can't take this fight because she has one booked the week before against Watterson. Option number 4, the number 9th ranked strawweight, Marina Rodriguez. So for pros, again, another fun striking battle. And from the promotional aspect, again, they're right next to each other in rankings. So a loss for either one of them, or a win for either one of them, isn't going to be a big mix-up in the rankings, and it's not going to downgrade either one of them hardly at all, at least as far as rankings go. However, the biggest con for this one is the short notice. Rodriguez is a big strawweight, very tall, very big. Can she make the weight on like 3 weeks' notice? I'm doubtful that she's able to take a fight like this on short notice. Also, why risk her ranking one spot up? She's trying to get back into the win column and move up the rankings. That's where she was being pushed up until she just lost to Carla Esparza. So why is she going to fight someone lower ranked now on short notice, no less, and risk and going down in ranking and losing 2 in a row? There's really no incentive for her other than they throw a ton of money at her, and that's not likely to happen anyway. So finally, we go to the number 12th ranked strawweight, Amanda Ribas. Again, pros, 2 exciting fighters, and for Ribas, the pro is that this is a chance for her to break into the top 10. Yan's number 10, Ribas is number 12. Ribas wins this, boom, she's at number 10. She gets to keep going up the rankings. And it would be her first actual win against a ranked fighter. Cons, however, and these are big cons here. Both of these fighters, Yan and Ribas, are on upward trajectories within the division. And the UFC is not, I repeat, not going to want to risk these 2 losing, particularly against each other, because they're both on those upward trajectories. And a loss would be a setback. For Yan, it'd be a particularly big setback because she'd lose to a lower ranked fighter. For Ribas, it'd be a big setback because right now she's looking nigh invincible. They don't want to screw that up because she is a current fan favorite, at least for now. So they're not going to want to risk, setting one back against the other when they're both on upward trajectories. They're both getting that big UFC push. UFC does not like to match 2 fighters that they're trying to push against each other until there's basically no option left. So that's why I don't think this one is likely to happen either. Do I think Ribas will take the fight on short notice? I don't know, probably. But I don't think the UFC is going to want to risk Ribas or Yan losing to the other. So in conclusion, who do I think the UFC is going to match up against Yan to replace Gadelha? Honestly, I just don't know. I mean, I'm trying to look at these possible matchups from the matchmaking perspective, and there's pros for each one, and there's cons for each. But honestly, I'm not a mind reader, so I just don't know. They might not match her up against anyone and just push back her fight for a later date. They might match her up against Gadelha again, depending on Gadelha's injury. Or who knows? They could just match her up against someone completely unranked, which would be risky, but not totally risky, because they'd likely find someone that she's more likely to win against. Or who knows? They might go into the Invicta roster and pick someone up from there. So who knows? Like I said, I'm just not a mind reader. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, if you liked the video, please give it a like and share it as well. That's how the word gets out. And hey, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.